So, what's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Price Club channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So, apparently, I saw this tweet from Paris Denard, and it's in an interview with Peter Moore, and he's a former Microsoft executive. And he asked him about his own thoughts on Xbox's multi-platform strategy. I was gonna do a reaction video on it, but it was like 4 minutes long, and I'm like, man, I don't have time for all that today. But Insider Gaming basically has taken this up and has written an article about it, Grant Taylor Hill, and I was like, well, at this point, this is a much more digestible form, and I'd love to see exactly how they cover it. Now, in this clip, I watched it multiple times. Peter Moore basically, said that things had changed. The so-called console war that they did back in the day was a rising tide to pretty much, elevate the different consoles and all of the above. But with the way things are going now, man, it's so different. It's no longer that time where you're over there sitting and trying to, hold on to games and fight everybody else and blah, blah, blah. So, Grant Taylor Hill's article says in the last few months, the concept of everything being an Xbox has skyrocketed, following a marketing campaign from Xbox that stressed just that notion. Many have questioned the company's future in the hardware market. It's no big secret that Team Green has fallen behind PlayStation in recent years, and the goal to make Xbox an ecosystem without technical borders is front and center. One former executive, one of the most eccentric by some accounts, has gone on record suggesting that Microsoft wouldn't make consoles if the tech titan had the choice. In an ideal world, Microsoft would drop hardware and focus on delivering games to all kinds of devices. Now, one more exec has just confirmed that Xbox needs consoles. I don't know how much we would need for people who put their head in the sand to, actually understand that this is a reality for their company. If they had the choice, they would probably go full publisher. But I see that there are a lot of people who are wishing Xbox would go full publisher. Ah, they need to just go Sega and get out of the business. They would love nothing more. But as it stands, there's a lot of money being made on the console, and there's a lot of money to be made on the console. What's even better is there's a lot more money to be made if you are a big publisher with a console. So this is where you got to see something interesting. Peter Moore writes, he says, the classic Netflix model, if you so desire, you can pick an Xbox controller and play the games right now without owning an Xbox console. That's possible through Game Pass apps, cloud solutions, VR headset, you name it. You no longer need to have an Xbox console in your home to be an Xbox fan. I told you, PlayStation fans that are buying Xbox games, that they're going to convert you to being an Xbox fan, and they're going to do it with very minimal resistance. That's what Peter Moore, one of the most prolific prolific former Xbox executives, said during a recent podcast appearance. He appeared on Danny Pena's show to discourse console wars, the propagation of the first-party games and their platforms, and Microsoft's status on the console space. When asked if Microsoft should keep going with hardware, Moore explained if they had the choice, would they make hardware? No. Would they be delighted if they could be a multi-hundred-billion-dollar entity delivering content directly to your television, to whatever monitor you choose to play on? You bet. It's a classic Netflix model, no latency, no lag. You're in, and there doesn't need to be a box between you and your controller and the TV set. Still, consoles are, as we even seen, particularly with Nintendo, people love their hardware. This was taken from that Danny Pena interview and that Paris Denard's question, and I thought to myself, there's just no way anybody was thinking. And do you believe it though, that when people were lambasting Paris and Destin, I had to go pull that IGN Unlocked podcast that they did, I think episode 653 or something like that. And that's where Destin said, it doesn't make sense to me why they're still investing in consoles, seeing as they're basically going to publisher route. And I basically made a video saying that Destin was just misunderstood because, from a business perspective, he should know better. My challenge so far, and I think I've probably come to a diagnosis of a lot of the people in the gaming industry that have been talking heads for such a long time, some 10, 15, 12 years, and these folk have worked in companies where they've seen changes and transformations in the industry. I think this particular move from Microsoft and Xbox hit them so hard because they've always been inside of the mix. They've had the close contact with executives, developers, publishers. Never really did they actually, have to deal with the external factors. Now that they're grown, and now, I mean, it's not like they weren't grown then, but they're grown different, right? Now that they're grown and they're looking at the industry differently, they realize that the shift is happening and they couldn't even, have predicted it because of the way things were. So a lot of their concerns and a lot of their questions are coming from that place of just, I think, a little bit of a shock. So when we've said for the longest time that Xbox needs the consoles, they do. I showed you guys a chart a while ago. I showed you guys how the Xbox console and the Game Pass subscribers there alone, whether they be Game Pass Core, whether they be Game Pass Ultimate, even though we average everything at $10 a month for subscription, still brings Xbox billions of dollars every year, even more than Call of Duty. Call of Duty is just an additive, but doesn't bring in as much money as their subscription services. So then taking the approach to go ahead and actually change up things doesn't make any sense if they go ahead and just abandon consoles. Those of you who've been saying, well, those of you in the Xbox space who've been saying, well, I'm worried about the Xbox console, you don't understand that necessity is what brings the Xbox console. And the next Xbox generation is coming in, followed by the next one, followed by the next one, because it continues to make the money. They don't have enough software to sell to match the annual revenue of Game Pass. Are you hearing what I'm saying? They'll need two levels of Call of Duty each year to get close. If they can replicate the Call of Duty paradigm and double it twice a year, then you'll see possibly them shifting to maybe not do consoles, which is not even possible. They'll take all the extra money. So they're not going anywhere. If Xbox had the opportunity right now to say, okay, we will basically replace or we will double the strategy of Call of Duty times two, right? And leave console, they'll say, no, we won't leave console. Why? Because console is an integral part of their work. Thanks for watching the video. Talk to me in the comment section. Hopefully, we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.